Breath in, 100% full. More. Blast! Now go all the way out, but keep going like you're fogging up a window with your breath. And continue to push down. See if you can go a couple more seconds. Try to get out that candle. Big breath now. Deep, big. Back to normal? Okay. Yeah, that's alright. Alright. Not as fine as your best one, but that's okay.
Let's start at the beginning.
The rainbow passage. When the sunlight strikes raindrops in the air, they act like a prism and form a rainbow. The rainbow is the division of white light into many beautiful colors.
You can see the difficulty I am having with my fingers. The curling is part of ALS. So I need a way to type without my fingers. This scans my eyes.
So about a year ago, this time of the year in April, I'll be out doing my weekly runs. I would run about twice a week, do about the equivalent of half a marathon from the house where we lived in Richmond last year. I enjoyed it every week. It was part of my routine, and I was also been a great believer in healthy eating. Did that since about 1982. So what happened was in June of last year, 2018, I went for a run in early June. It was very different. My feet felt very heavy, and I had trouble lifting my feet. My name is Harry Dollard. I'm currently experiencing the symptoms of ALS.
So I met Harry back in, I think, 2007, 2008 maybe was our first visit, maybe a little bit later, but Harry was, I would call him one of my classic clients. I treat a lot of runners. I have quite a sort of reputation amongst treating runners, and he was a runner. This one particular day back in June of last year when he came in, he sort of offhandedly mentioned that he'd gone for a run and he didn't feel right. He didn't feel like his stride was there. He didn't have the power in his stride. He noticed, and the big signal to me was when he said, I felt like my foot was dropping, like it was hitting the ground. It was sort of slapping the ground. And in the physio's world, that's a bit of a red flag when someone would even use the term foot drop. I think he recognized it as well as he has with anything. And, you know, he went and got, you know, to see his doc right away and started the process of looking into things.
Nice to see you again, sir.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead. Take a seat. All right, so give me an update. How have you been for the past 2 months?
If I take a deep breath, I can generally get some volume.
Mm-hmm.
It's best in the morning, and can deteriorate towards the evening. But I'm surprised people can still understand what I'm saying. To me, it sounds garbled, but when I hear it played back,
But no, it's still quite intelligible.
it's surprising. So that's the voice. Swallowing, a little more tricky.
Okay, so if you'll first read the first 2 sentences up until the term beautiful colors, all right?
Rainbow passage. When the sunlight strikes raindrops in the air, they act like a prism and form a rainbow. The rainbow is the division of white light into many beautiful colors.
Great, thank you.
Recording stopped.
Breathe through your nose. Nice mucosal wave. You have a little bit of a soft closure pattern where your vocal folds, there's a little bit of gap. And that's why when I listen to your voice, you have a little bit of a, what we call asthenia quality. You're a little soft, weak. The tongue will quiver a little bit when patients have ALS. It's one of the presenting signs that ENTs are trained to look for, actually.
With ALS, it's quite different. First of all, there's no drugs involved. There's no chemotherapy. You're doing it to yourself, but it's not like cancer. It's a destruction of neurons that are specifically tied to your voluntary muscle. So, the sense of hope is different.
I think most people recognize that, in essence, ALS is a disease in which brain cells die and cells in the spinal cord die. And it was because of the cells in the spinal cord and because of our initial ability just to look at muscle that it was regarded as a neuromuscular disease, which it isn't. And actually Charcot, who is the sort of Charcot, the famous Parisian neurologist, he's the father of ALS, father of many things. So he was the first person to sort of formally describe ALS in it was 1865. It was rather remarkable because he only saw 10 patients and he described the whole of ALS based on 10 patients. And his clinical descriptions have never really been improved upon since then. But it's more than, it isn't just motor system. We now recognize that frontotemporal dementia can be an intricate part of ALS. And early on, 1800s, early 1900s, people didn't recognize it. The more we look, the more we see it. And actually, depending on how fancy your tests are, 50% of ALS patients have dementia of some sort, have cognitive issues, I should say. So frontotemporal dementia can occur without ALS, and ALS can occur without frontotemporal dementia, or they can occur together. There are cases of Parkinson's that get ALS components. There are cases of Alzheimer's that get Parkinsonian components. So there's a real mishmash of these things. And there's a bit of this and a bit of that. So they're there's a huge overlap of these diseases. And I've always thought that whatever treatment or cure we eventually find for one, excuse me, will be applicable for all of them.
I tend to be the kind of person that deals with future issues by trying to examine the detail of what's happening on those issues. So I've been spending quite a bit of time planning for my wheelchair.
Rabbit, turtle, and then again your headlights, if it's dusk, and then your hazards all around if, say, you just want to be more visible. And then you can select indoor and outdoor option as well too. I find the tilt will help with the breathing as well too, but also just overall pressure relief as well. Keep in mind the tilt for going down hills really helps as well too. You can counteract the angle.
And also thinking hard about ventilation, the final option for anyone with ALS that eventually loses the ability to breathe properly.
On this next one, go fast in, 100%, more, blast, and continue to go out like you're fogging up a window with your breath, just like the previous one, for about 3 more seconds if you can. 2, keep on. Now, big as you can, 100%, 100%. Good job.
So it looks like the diaphragm has been a little bit more affected, Harry, compared to before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is, I think that's why the BiPAP is helping you. You did drop quite a bit in this when you went sitting to supine. You went from 4.8 to 3.2 liters, and now you're dropping down from 3.7 to 2.95 liters. So the drop is about the same, but there's some loss of capacity. So I'm Dr. Jeremy Rode. I'm a respiratory physician who work at Vancouver General Hospital, and I manage the Provincial Respiratory Outreach Program, which provides mechanical ventilation or ventilatory support for patients across the province. The issue with ALS is largely that it's the breathing muscles that are the ones that are critical to life. If the breathing muscles are affected by ALS, which they can be, then that's a vital part of basically your existence. You won't be able to tolerate the reflux when you swallow. I see. Is it coming back up into your mouth? So we're basically stuck with trying to cope with the effects of the weakened muscles, and they can affect your swallowing muscles as well as your breathing muscles, and those are two areas where we can intervene and try and help to preserve the quality of life and the quantity of life. And that's where the ventilatory assistance comes in, and where the feeding comes in as well at some point.
And just a big shout out to all of you here, the walkers, the sponsors, the donors.
Remember the 5 stages of grief people go through. I was still at the denial stage. But what was happening was I couldn't deny anymore that it probably was ALS. You can see here the huge hollows in my neck.
Okay.
These are muscles that disappeared over the last 2 months. And these muscles can help control the neck position, so they wasted away. And I had the same thing happening on my back. So I think when I was, a few months ago, when I was talking about beating ALS and being able to move forward, I think it was from a place of abstract thinking. I really don't know, frankly, how hard it's going to be. It's dawning on me that I probably underestimated the degree of control the disease will take out of me.
Are you getting some reflux then?
A lot.
Is it burning at all? Or
No.
are you taking an antacid?
I was when I was taking PPI.
Yeah.
I didn't find it made any difference.
Okay. Yeah, there isn't a cure. Research is ongoing. We try to offer people hope that there will be a cure, but I think everybody recognizes the reality right now is that there isn't any cure, and there hasn't. People have been researching for quite a while, and we haven't found that cure yet. What we can do is be frank with them and say these are options to prolong your life. If you choose to prolong your life, we have the support available for you.
Well, the other one is how long am I going to live with this, and that's totally variable, absolutely variable. I mean, it can go as short as a year, 18 months to 20 years or more. But one thing that people may not realize is that once a course is set, ALS doesn't do this. It's a very steady decline. So whatever track you're on doesn't change. It stays much the same throughout.
Breathe through your nose. Swallow once. There we go.
Recording.
Say E. Usually if reflux is very bad, I see swelling of the vocal folds, or the retinoids, granuloma formation. I'm not seeing that right now. Alright, so should we touch base again in about 3 months?
Sure,
How often you're seeing your other doctors?
every 2 months.
Yeah, I think 3 months is a good time. Yeah.
Important to maintain your nutrition and you've got the peg tube in place, so that's because if you don't keep the nutrition going, then what your body does is try to break down the muscles to feed your liver and brain. So it's important to make sure that doesn't happen.
This is a very simple device called the bagger. A bagger is used to expand your lungs. I do this breathing capacity with ALS. Your lungs never fully inflate. So, I do that about 3 times. I do that 3 times a day.
Well, this is great that you're doing that still, yeah. What about doing more like a kick towards your bum? Yeah. Good. Can we check your leg strength? It looks good walkings, but we'll just check those out as well. So lift this knee up in the air. Good, and hold for me. Hold, 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 hold. Nice. This one. Hold. Great. And push your leg out towards me. Big kick, big kick, big kick. The running muscles haven't stopped working.
No.
And hold. What I like about your strength, particularly on your legs, is that it stays strong through the whole contraction, right? You don't kind of get weaker as I hold it longer, which is nice. What about your feet? Can you lift your heels? Can you lift your toes up in the air? Good. Can you do it on your right side? Not much anymore there, hey? I don't know that I'll ever become an expert in it, but having an understanding and a better understanding of what it takes and what it does to everybody involved, I think is an eye-opening experience for sure. It's a challenge as a physiotherapist having someone with this condition because we're here to help, and we're here to get people better and to make them more efficient and to live better lives, and knowing that I feel a little bit helpless, like I can't, is challenging.
All right, that's enough of that. Okay. And then so I'll hold it. I'll hold it for a bit, and then maybe I'll put some tape on here. We're supposed to hold it for at least 5 minutes. And then in 5 minutes, I'll have a look and make sure it stopped bleeding. This blood, it comes from an artery. Usually when they take it, it comes from veins. So have you done this one before or no?
I know all about that.
Yeah, you heard of it. So, and then in just a bit, I'll say take a really deep breath in and then boom, as fast as you can out. So on your next breath, really deep breath, more, bust. And keep going if you can and let it out steady for just a few more seconds and continue to go like you're, all right, deep breath in now, big as you can.
One of the issues is that you're okay. I mean, I know it's difficult to breathe in the daytime. If it does become more difficult in the daytime, you can use the devices to help you breathe in the daytime as well.
People with ALS think they're going to choke to death, which they don't. It's very, very rare. Or that they're going to sort of suffer because they gasp to death. But that doesn't happen either. 90% of the time what happens, you go to bed and go to sleep and never wake up, because you get a cardiac standstill because the oxygenation in the blood is so reduced. Heart just stops, and it's a very peaceful end, actually, extremely peaceful end.